human.
And boom!
Common man, no show prep, no solid plan. Spins a yarn, begins a tale. The esoteric approach won't fail. Tune in, it's time for Common Man. Common man, charms the housewives like no one can. What'd you shoot? Where'd we play? Non-stop nonsense on deck today. Tune in, it's time for Common Man.
Why should anybody aspire to be a common man, an average man? Do you realize what it means to be average? That means you're the best of the lousiest, and the lousiest of the best. Now, if we demand more and more for producing less and less, while the have-not nations encourage and inspire and indeed require hard work and maximum effort, if we deify the common men while they encourage and reward the uncommon ones, well, the end result of such a lopsided race as that is too obvious to require elaboration.
I mean, it's like, hello.
Little Cubbies versus Little Tigers, bottom of the third inning. Little Johnny up to bat. Little Billy, the pretend pitcher for the Little Cubbies. Little Billy pretends to pitch. Little Johnny swings, and it's a dribbler to second base, and it goes by Little Aaron through to the gap. All 9 Little Cubbies chasing after it. The right fielder, Little Danny, laying on the ground, playing with dandelions. He won't get there. Maybe the right center fielder, Little Kenny, will. No, it goes by Little Kenny, too. All the Little Tigers will score, except Little Johnny. Little Johnny is running the wrong way. The man that hit the dribbler to the gap is going the wrong way. He's rounding second, but in the opposite direction. Pandemonium here on field number 3. It all comes down to this. Little Cubbies, their final at-bat here in the T-Ball World Series. Little Brendan up to bat, 2 inside the park home runs today. On his way to another MVP season. You'll remember he was the MVP of spring T-Ball. They switched teams for the summer T-Ball league, and Little Brendan still able to produce. His Little Cubbies down by 1 here with 2 outs in the final inning. Here's the fake pitch from Little Tigers closer, Little Jack, and it's a long fly ball to deep center field. Has Little Brendan done it again? Yes! Yes, he has. Touch 'em all, Little Brendan. The Cubbies win the T-Ball Summer League World Series. Little Cubbies all over the field, mobbing Little Brendan. It's a walk-off. Cookies, gummy bears everywhere. Little Brendan's dad, the coach, getting a juice box shower, doused with juice boxes, and it's Little Mike Doss Jr. doing the honors. Good to hear from Little Mike Doss Jr. Lost earlier in the season when he tripped over third base when he was supposed to run to first. Little Mike Doss Jr. can't be held down. What a day here at the T-Ball Ball Yard.
Well done, young man!
He's the clown from Brown. He's the 4th in the North. This is the Common Man, Dan Cole.
Well, it's going to be a long day. Have you done this before? Here I am going, ack, a dack, ack, clown from Brown, and I got nothing. What's your excuse?
They were doing renovations in the studio and turned off all the mics.
Oh.
I didn't know that it was off.
Renovate the studio. Why are we running? What are we doing in there? That's the voice, by the way, of Brett Blakemore, fill-in producer for the Common Man program today. What are they doing in there?
If you look ahead of you, there's new cameras. Brand new cameras.
Look at that.
They're robotic cameras, so they move. Ooh.
What's not moving?
Well, I don't think anyone's manning them at the moment.
I thought they were like, you know how you have voice activated? I thought they were video. Like if there was movement in the room, if it would follow me. Well, how about that? Here's the other thing I'm being told from my Bradshaw and Brian KFAN text line. I'm going to have to check in on my email each and every day. I don't have my email on my phone. I don't want my email on my phone. You have your email on your phone, don't you?
I do.
99.9% of the people do. I don't want it because I don't like checking my email. I don't I'll check my email when I want to check it, and I do it at home. I don't need extra things on my phone. But now the only way to do it, so I'm going to have to do it, I guess. I don't have any choice in the matter. There's so much to get to today.
Ton.
Well, we got the Vikings always. I mean, first and foremost, you have the Vikings. You have McCarthy protocol, concussion protocol. Will Max Brogdon start or not? And then you got the angle that he's a former Minnesota Golden Gopher. We got a wall in St. Paul. That's all I know. There's a wall in St. Paul. Frost, they're back in action. Wolves blow another one. Were they talking trash again at the end of the game before they lost? Like they did they lost 2 games ago. Who did they lose to where they were talking trash?
Phoenix.
And then who did they lose to last night? Were they talking trash to
Sacramento? Yeah.
Were they talking trash to Sac too? What a sorry excuse for a club. Twins continue to try to move forward. There's so much to get to. I don't know where to begin. Let's spin the wheel of topic.
I hope it lands on the wall in St. Paul. They're red hot.
Commons Golf Game.
Last round of the year. Oh, here in Minnesota.
It's sad.
What'd you shoot today?
82.
Where'd we play?
Oak Marsh.
Where'd you hit it on one?
Left rough again.
How far from the green were you?
Oh, it was par 5 and a long way to go.
Second shot?
You hit a hybrid up near, somewhere. I don't know.
Right or left?
Right.
Then what?
Had a 8-iron into the green.
Then what?
Hit a beautiful 8-iron into the green.
Then what?
2 putted from 45 feet.
Incredible.
I went par, bogey, and then I made a double. You know what I did on the double? On 4, the 90-degree dogleg, almost a 90-degree dogleg right. I pulled my drive left, and I'm on a mound. I got a downhill, side hill lie, and I let it bother me, and I toe shanked it into the junk. Took a drop, made double.
What is that?
Then made a. Then on the par 4 fifth, you were just there.
Yeah.
That's a really long hole for me. It's like 420 or whatever from the tee. I got to the front of the green. I just got on by about a pace. I had 80 feet for birdie. What do you think I do? I 3-putt. And I hit a relatively good first putt, but I left it about 6-7 feet short, 6-7. Then, have you ever done this? And I know everybody that plays a lot of golf has done this.
Oh, then probably not.
Where you hit it too good. I had that par 3, playing about 135. Yeah, 8 or 7. Normally an 8, but it's a little chilly, and I don't know why I chose 7. I did, and I absolutely flushed it. Hit as well as I can strike a ball. It's over the green and into that bunker behind the green, and and I'm not a very good bunker player. I have my moments, but it was a little downhill lie, and I got it out, and I wanted it to hit the rough because it's all downhill. So you want it to slow it up and then trundle it onto the green, and I didn't hit it enough. I left it in the rough, and then making a double there. Then I rebounded with a birdie on the par 5 7th. I stuffed a 50-degree wedge from about 95 yards into a 3/4 knockdown to 3 feet, made the putt. Then I made bogey on 8, hit it into the bunker. Again, trying to just get in front of it a little bit. And
Did Paul ever get the bunker club back?
What's that?
Did Paul get the bunker club back?
Oh, yeah, I don't.
That's long gone.
Yeah, I don't use that. And so then I crushed my drive on that. I hit as good a drive as I've ever hit on that. I think I've got about 9. The reason we don't know is there's so much fog, and we're walking. There's no GPS. The Bushnell doesn't work because it doesn't cut through the fog. So it's a lot of guesswork, right? And I kind of gave up on the shot. And I got 45 feet. I 3-putt. Then I make a nice run. I par 10, 11, 12, 13. I get by Amen Corner over there, and I'm thinking, I've got for me, the most scoreable part of the golf course coming up. The short par 4, 14th, short par 3, short par 5, medium length par 3, and I bogey out. I go bogey, 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 bogey.
What'd you hit for your second shot at 18?
I hit a 5-iron.
The 5-iron might as well be.
And it could have been because I left it. I left it short. No, I did go into the bunker. I left it in that front bunker, and then I didn't hit a very good bunker shot there either. However, it was a good season. We laughed, we cried. Best of times, worst of times.
I'm honored to be here for the last Wheel of Topics of 2025.
It is. It's the last, because I really, if you look at the forecast, are we really supposed to get like 3 to 7 inches of snow?
I think so.
I think we're in some kind of a snow advisory kind of a thing.
Which is tough because I'm trying to drive home today after work.
Home is in
Des Moines.
And there's Days Monies. There's money in Days Monies.
That's
Days
correct.
Monies in Days Monies. So you're leaving. I'm sticking around. Thanksgiving at my brother's place. So looking forward to that. So that'll be good. We always love getting together with the family. And Tennessee already out. I think kids must have this week off or something. I don't know what he's doing, but he's not in. So, and then tomorrow is it Devin?
I think so.
I think it's Devin. It's Devin's in tomorrow. So he'll produce. Rosen in at 1:00 today. Rosen, I think, will be in, at 2:00, and I think Rosen will be in again tomorrow. Brian Oak will be in for Rock Talk tomorrow as well. So still plenty to get to. Has there been any, because I did not see, has there been any word on McCarthy? Any update on him since yesterday when he was in the concussion protocol? Did the coach say anything? Because I know PA was with the coach today.
I mean, they danced a little bit around it, but it seems like all the tea leaves are pointing towards Brosmer's going to be the guy in Seattle.
Yeah, and that it'll be interesting to see how well he does. I mean, he's a relatively bright guy. He had a great season here with the Gophers in his senior year. He was really good. I'm curious to see how he plays. It'll be a daunting challenge to say the least. You're playing against a team that looks like they're destined to go to the playoffs. I think are they 7-4, 8-3? I think they're either 7-4 or 8-3.
They're good.
Their defense, I'm told, is very talented. We know old Sam Darnold has an arm. He's their quarterback. And then you're playing on the road, and you're an undrafted rookie free agent. He's had, he played some preseason football and posted some nice numbers for the Vikings. And then he's played very, very little here in the regular season. I think there was a kneel down on one, and then I think he took like 6 snaps that were meaningless. So he's taken
checkdowns.
Yeah, some checkdowns and such like that. So this will be his first, if he indeed does play. I have every reason to believe he will. I mean, there are those that think the Vikings are making up the concussion thing. And I don't believe I don't know. I mean, I guess they could be. I guess the kid could be making it up because he doesn't want to play anymore. He's tired. I don't know. I believe that he probably did get his bell wrong. Whether he suffered a concussion or not, I don't know. But he could have got his bell wrong. That's why he's in the concussion protocol. Does he have one? And I don't know if he does. I get the feeling no matter what, Brosmer plays. If the Vikings still have ideas of or hopes that McCarthy's the guy, and when you trade up like they did to get him, and you've done what you've let Darnold go, you let Danny Dimes walk, you rebuffed the advances of Aaron Rodgers, then you must be all in on this kid. The performances have been, other than that fourth quarter against the Bears, which was really good in the first game, and then he had the Lions game, he was okay, and they had the nice comeback in the one drive against, who do we lose to after we made the one drive down the field?
The Bears?
The Bears, that's right, the Bears in the second one. But otherwise, it's been, and last week was as bad as it gets. So I don't know if they're still all in on him. I don't know, and I don't think the coaches. I don't think anybody's going to say anything yet. At least not for a while. We'll take a break. We'll come back with a little Dis Dat Lad here on the Common Man program on the Fan.
Troops, this football season, Bell Bank is giving one KFAN listener each week $1,000 to pay it forward to a charity of their choice. Just head over to KFAN.com, keyword contest to learn more and enter today. KFAN.com, keyword contest.
Did the Grum advance out of the second round of the, what do they call their thing again? Bracket 64? Big 64?
6-7.
6-7, something like that. You know, there's what the hell is the name of that website again?
The 64.
The 64. What they do is, apparently, I don't know how many people are involved, so people come up with, hey, here's a great idea. Let's do a bunch of preposterous statement tournament type brackets, like we did, like the NCAA tournament. And we'll just do all sorts of different things. And they stumbled upon best sports talk show / podcast. PA advanced out of the first round. He beat Colin Coward. Listeners do all the voting. The Power Trip Morning Show, I don't recall who they beat, but they advanced out of the first round. And then we beat a very, very, and you know what? That's a heck of a podcast that we defeated. We're very humbled that we were able to beat Karch and Anderson, because that's a very, very good podcast. So we got into the second round. What's interesting is we're in the Metropolitan Division. And if we were to win our next matchup and the Power Trip Morning Show was to win, we square off against the Power Trip Morning Show in the silly 16. And I don't know if you can get to this in time, but I've got a message for the Power Trip Morning Show.
Oh.
Objects in your mirror may be closer than they appear.
You know, they're the darlings of the radio station. Think about that. Guess what? They're having another birthday / anniversary celebration for him. And it's not even, it's 24. It's not even like, well, I can understand if it's the 20th or the 25th or the 30th, but it's the 24th. We can't stop extolling the virtues of the Power Trip Morning Show and all the laughter that they create.
Breast yoga pants.
Exactly. But we're looking forward to it. I don't even know when I don't know if the voting is ongoing or if they do all, you know, if that after our matchup is done, you wait a while. I don't know how the bracket works. I couldn't even find it on a bracket map. But nevertheless, while you look for that, I'd like to tell you that it's time for Peek at the Purple, brought to our friends at Affordable Electric. If you're planning a kitchen or a basement remodel this fall, let the professionals at Affordable Electric handle all the wiring. They can do so up to code, which is very important, and they do a very tidy job, and they also do it safely. They work directly with homeowners and contractors all across the Twin Towns to keep every project on schedule. Affordable Electric. How about this? Where quality meets affordability. Visit affordable-electric.com today. That's affordable-electric.com. And remember, Affordable Electric is, yowza! It's shockingly affordable. You know, it appears Max Brosmer, it's not set in stone yet, but will be the starting quarterback for the soon-to-be big game world champion Minnesota Vikings this Sunday against Seattle, a game you'll hear on this radio station. I believe the coverage begins at 1. Be here for the opening pooch kick, pooch, at 3:05. And I read somewhere that, well, if Brosmer starts, I don't think we can really expect him to do that well. Well, why not? Why can't we expect him to play well? Oh, big bad Seattle. Ooh, this isn't the Legion. Were they Legion of Doom or Boom? What were they called? Back when they were really good, when they won a big Boom, game. I believe. This isn't. I know they have a very good defense, but this isn't the same defense. They're a good team. They just got clobbered 2 weeks ago by the Rams. They won last week, but they got clobbered by theirs. It's not like they're invincible or unbeatable. And just because Max Brosmer is an undrafted free agent, does that mean he's supposed to just be shaking in his cleats? I mean, we expected a lot from J.J. McCarthy. As a matter of fact, I thought I'd make a comparison from both their senior years in college football. Okay? Now, in his senior year, J.J. McCarthy won a national championship, right? If you remember, I think in his high school and college career, he'd only lost one football game. Max Brosmer played for New Hampshire for all those years, and then he played his senior season at the University of Minnesota. Now, these statistics that I have, they don't match up exactly. For instance, in what I found from McCarthy, they have a passer rating. They don't have the passer rating for Brosmer. But here we go. McCarthy, in his senior season, he had a completion percentage of 72.3%. Max Brosmer was 66.5%. So that's significant, right? 66 to 72. But remember, Michigan was a run-first offense, pass only when needed, or to keep the defense honest. They didn't throw the ball long, I don't think, very often, Michigan, and that's not to take anything away from McCarthy. He played within the confines of the offense. If you remember, that Michigan team was built on defense and a strong running game, right? Brosmer threw for 2,828 yards. McCarthy threw for 2,991 yards. So 10, 12, 6, 7 more yards is all. McCarthy had 22 tutties and 4 interceptions. Brosmer had 18 touchdowns. I couldn't find his interceptions. It wasn't there. But he had 18. I guess what I'm trying to say, it appears to me that some of these numbers they're not that much further off from the other guy. It's not like McCarthy put these astounding numbers out and Brosmer just kind of muddled along. As a matter of fact, Brosmer was all Big 18 honorable mention in his senior year. And, again, Brosmer, the schedules are basically the same. They're playing Big 10 opponents, right, or Big 18 opponents. So it's not as though, one guy was playing in a much tougher conference. They were both playing in the Big 18. And truth be told, I would think Brosmer had a lot less to work with the Gophers than McCarthy did, particularly when Michigan never lost a game. They ran the ball a lot. They had a great offensive line, almost an offensive line that could almost be an NFL offensive line. That's how big and strong and talented those kids were. And a really good defense to play under. So again, I know the kid he'll probably have some jitters, right? He'll have some butterflies, but now again, the one issue could be the offensive line. If Darisaw can't play and Jonah Jackson can't play, it could be some trouble when the left side of the line is not there. But I think I don't think he's going to end up being the NFC Offensive Player of the Week like J.J. McCarthy was in his first professional football game. But I think he'll do fine for himself. I really do. I have, and it's nothing but a gut feeling. I'm not like a Brosmer bro. It's not as though I don't know. It's just call it a gut feeling is what I think. I think he's probably going to play some pretty good football. We'll take a break, come back. We'll do a little distat lat, a little tap dancing, then welcome the legendary Mark Rosen into the conversation. He'll join us just before 2 right here on The Fan.
Calling out Wolves fans, you can join us for a Michelob Ultra Wolves Watch Party, Wild Boar Bar and Grill, Oakdale, this Wednesday. And come hang with Max Fuller, 7 to 9 p.m., play halftime trivia and win awesome prizes like an Anthony Edwards jersey. Plus, enjoy food and drink specials while you cheer on the Wolves. Don't miss out. All the details, KFAN.com, keyword count.
What's the name of the place again?
Wild Boar Bar and Grill.
And what time will that be?
In Oakdale.
Do you have what time will that be?
7 to 9 p.m.
Do you have a website or an address or a phone over there? You got a piece of paper and a pencil? I'd like to be prepared.
It's KFAN.com, keyword calendar.
Perfect. Someone sent a text message that says they identified the hit in which McCarthy got his bell rung. I realized that we talked about it yesterday. I watched it on air. Tried to send it to 10B, but I'm incapable of forwarding text messages or videos or whatever people, links or whatever it is that they send me. I don't know how to do it. I'm a boomer. But yes, I do believe he got his bell rung. I don't think there's any question about it. What I was saying is that I think there are people that believe they're making it up just as a way to move on from McCarthy for a little while anyway. But I do believe he got his bell rung. Whether he suffered technically a concussion, I don't know. But I do know you could see he got landed. It was late in the game. He got landed on hard. He was kind of splayed back. And then Hawkins ended up helping him out, and he looked like he was a bit woozy. I don't think there's any question about that. Chris Hine is Fish Wrap Factory West Side Timberwolves beat writer. Headline, Timberwolves meltdown late for second game in a row. Fall to Kings in overtime. Sub-headline, or whatever they call it, says, the Wolves again blundered on the road with a late lead. Undone by questionable offense and silly turnovers, and lost to a team with a losing record for the first time this season. If you'll remember, going into last night's game, I think they were 10-6. Their 10 wins were against teams with losing records. Their losses were against teams with winning records. In other words, they're really not very good right now. I mean, they're beating teams, they're beating losing record teams that can't beat the teams. That your peers. That if you have, and it's early in the year, it's certainly, we're not writing it off yet. But if you have aspirations to again make the playoffs and advance again to the Western Conference Finals, get to the door. Last week we knocked on the door. 2 years ago, we knocked on the door. No, 2 years ago, we got to the door. Last year, we knocked on it. Now we want to kick it in. Hein writes, the Timberwolves did it again for the second consecutive game. They gave away a victory, this time losing on the road to a lowly Sacramento team. 117-112 in OT after blowing Friday's game in Phoenix. The Wolves relinquished a 10-point lead late in the fourth quarter before falling in overtime, in which they never led. Poor shot selection in the fourth quarter and OT, plus some mind-boggling turnovers in the extra session, enabled the Kings, who were without big man Sabonis. Is it DeMontis? Is that how you say his name? Sabonis. He's out. This sounds like the Timberwolves I'm growing accustomed to. Blowing a 10-point lead, poor shot selection in the fourth quarter and in overtime. Finch said after the game, head coach, we had some good looks when he was talking about the late game offensive foibles. Try to get a matchup. We're struggling right now to find a good rhythm offensively all around. We got to get back to the way we were playing about a week ago when it comes to offense. A lot of things we were doing then we're missing now. The Wolves had 2 turnovers on bad passes in the backcourt in OT, just as they had 2 turnovers in the backcourt late against Phoenix. Then, as the icing on the cake, Julius Randle threw away an inbounds pass with 19.2 seconds left, and the Wolves down 4. The Wolves lost to a team with a losing record for the first time this season. Finch said, inability to rebound in the clutch certainly hurt us tonight. Obviously, turnovers, a bunch of silly ones in transition. And, again, it's so early in the season. It's just sloppy. And are the Thunder that much better than the rest of the league, or at least that much better than the Wolves? Because I think they've only lost 1 game this year. Now, they're the defending champs, and they have SGA. But I don't know. And look, I'm not paying as close attention to the NBA as I once did. But why should it appears to me from afar that OKC, they play with a purpose, with a professionalism, in pride that is sometimes, I think, lacking with the Timberwolves and maybe other teams as well. I just don't know how you can be do you remember before the season started, they actually had to have a meeting, and this is what they said they talked about in the meeting. We want to just do showtime and just put on a show for the fans, or do we actually want to win games and try to win a championship? And you know what they all voted for? Win a championship, which I was kind of surprised. I wasn't sure of that. But that's what they said. You wouldn't think you'd even have to have that conversation. Once you get to the National Basketball Association, particularly once you've solidified your place as a quality player with a guaranteed contract and big money without any other worries, you're not worried about getting cut. You're not worried about feeding your family like Spree. So what you're worried, so the only thing you should be concerned with is winning ball games and playing again. Just, for 6 months, can you just stay laser focused for 6 months, 4 times a week on average? Play 3 or 4 games a week. Can you do that? I don't understand why it's that difficult to do, but it doesn't seem like the Wolves are able to do that. Where OKC is. Can you pull up the NBA standings and tell me some of the records of some of the other teams that are winning? I mean, I got to believe there are other teams that have only lost 2 or 3 games, and they're not only beating losing teams, but they're also beating teams with winning records as well.
So the next closest in the East, it's the Pistons. They're 15-2.
Oh, so 15-2?
15-2.
So they're playing with some pride, professionalism, with a real purpose. It sounds like to me.
Also, as someone who also has not followed the NBA as closely as I once did, the Pistons being good is kind of a shock.
It is, yeah, because the Detroit has not been much of a franchise for the past 5, 6, 10 years, whatever.
After that, the best you got to go is Nuggets, Lakers, Rockets. All have 4 losses. 13-4, 12-4, 11-4. So that's where you're at.
Yeah.
But there's still some pretty damn good teams.
And that's where you would think after 2 years of getting into the Western Conference Finals that there would be a hunger and a desire to get to that point. Again, I know Ant was injured when he missed the first 4 games, 6, whatever it was. But it's really hard for me to get excited about the club, much like it was difficult to get excited about the Wild early in the year. People always think that, with the Jolly Green Giant, the producer of the show, being part of the hockey community, I'm part of the wet blanket community. I just throw a wet blanket on everything in town. It doesn't matter if it's, even if they are any good, I'll find something to pick on, right? But they feel like, we pick on the Wolves and we build up the Wild, which and Tenneby just calls him as he sees him with the Wild. I rely on him for that. I'm kind of the guy, I guess this is sad, really. I probably pay closer attention to the Wolves than Tenneby does, and I don't pay that close attention. I read the accounts. I'll click it on every once in a while and watch a few. When I heard I didn't see the first blown game against Phoenix, but I watched the video of that last 50 seconds. It almost looked like it was scripted. Like it was like, let's have a movie of a team that blows a game late. Lights, camera, action. It was comical as to how they lost that game, and it looks like they did basically the same again last night. But I'd really like to. You have a meeting where you have to say, I think we're trying to win, and then they also said what we want. If I remember correctly, or maybe I just get my years confused, because they all. It seems like every year they say basically the same stuff, but they wanted to get back to that defensive identity that they've always had, and the last couple of games it's not been there. So whether they can change that or not remains to be seen. It's still very, very early in the season, and I've brought this up on a couple of occasions. If you are a really good team, like for instance, who did we wedge a win in between those 2 losses? What was our most recent win? Can you look back?
I don't think they did.
Then maybe it was 2 games. Then before that, they beat
the Wizards, who are one of the worst teams in basketball.
The Wizards. So that was the game in which the Wizards like on, I think 2, 3, maybe even 4 occasions, like cut it to 5. And then the Wolves would pull back out ahead. Then they would cut it to 5, and the Wolves would pull back ahead. In other words, one of those games where you're so superior to the other team, you're so much better than the other team, that you can coast for, you build up a big lead, and then you just kind of goof around and do a little Harlem Globetrotter kind of stuff, and then the other team thinks they're back in the game. They go, oh, they're trying. Okay, and then you put some space between the two teams. And I think that's all fine and good, but I think you're better off. And yet they won that game, so that's fine. But I think you're better off. You put the hammer, treat every game the same way, much like I treat every show the same way. Painstaking preparation.
I always love that one.
Thank you. Always informed. Always inoculated. And so, but I just don't see that from this Wolves club. And we didn't see it from the Wild early. I couldn't explain that. They were just lost out there. And then now with the Wall, they have the best record in the NHL in the month of November. Is it 9-1-1 or 10-1-1?
Something like that.
I think it's 9-1-1 in the month of November. And so they're putting forth a concerted effort. Here is a text message that came in on the give me a second. On the because I want to get to it. Thank you. Thank you. The Bradshaw and Brian KFAN text line says, close circuit to Brett Blakemore. Give us your thoughts watching Common walk off the 13th hole in disgrace on Saturday. Now, I'd threatened to walk off earlier on 8.
Did.
But
I said, I'm done at 9.
Yeah, I'm done at 9. But then I played through 9. I parred 10. And then I completely melted down on number 11. I made an 8. I was literally shanking hybrids. Made an 8. And to get the 8, remember, I had to hit the putt from down in the collection area down below from about 25 feet away.
Yeah.
I had to get it up the hill of the collection area and then into the, I mean, it was like I could have sat there for an hour and a half and never duplicated that again. And then I sliced a hybrid into the bunker on number 12 and couldn't get up and down. And then on 13, having to hit you hit a mark. Did you make the birdie putt on that hole? On 13, the par 3, remember the one I left?
Yeah.
You hit a gorgeous approach. What did you hit from that?
That was the best 5-iron I've ever hit in my life.
You just absolutely hit a beautiful 5-iron.
It rolled off the back of the green, then I had to chip and 2-putt for bogey. Yeah. Still.
What do you mean it rolled off the green?
It rolled off. It hit the green and rolled off the back to the French.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah. Still beautiful, though.
Yeah, it was gorgeous.
Almost hit the power lines.
I hit my tee shot, and I shank it again, dead shank it over near 10 fairway, and I just said, gentlemen, I'm done. And I think you guys thought I was kidding. But I took my bag off, collected all my goods and service, all my equipment and my vest and all that, and I said, good luck to you guys. Enjoy the rest of your round. What were your thoughts?
I thought you were kidding. Well, because we've all heard it. You know, we've seen a bad shot or two, and you hear, it's over. Round's over. It's all done. So it just thought, well, we'll let him cool off, and once he hits a good shot, we'll start chatting again. No, you just started doing your bag, and that was that. We were all just like, yeah, just let him. You got to do it. There was no like, oh, what a hardo. Just like, well, no. It's common, and you just got to let him go.
It's either that or my head would have exploded. Now, had it just been you and me, I wouldn't leave one person on the golf course. I don't even know if I'd leave a twosome with a crowded golf course, because then it gets slow. But there were three of you out there, and you guys were all having fun and playing well.
I was getting tips from something the way he swings.
Yeah, and he gave you a really good tip, dropping that right shoulder a little bit. Did you say you hit a 290-yard drive? Was that on 14 or 16 or 18?
I could look it up, but it's
okay.
one of the long ones.
Yeah. Oh, so it must have been 16.
Yeah.
Was it the last hole of the day?
No.
Then it was 16.
Yeah.
The par 5. 290, that's a poke.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I play so much golf. And plus, you know what? There was a little bit of guilt that Deuce and I had talked about watching Giants, Lions, and Vikings, Packers. We'd have them both up on, we'd get both TVs out, watch both games. Then I said, "Hey, Deuce." He goes, "What's that?" I go, "Thinking of playing golf." And you could kind of see the eyes water up a little bit. "Oh, Dad, that's okay. Go ahead, play." I said, "Are you sure that's okay?" And then when I called him and said, "I'm on the way home," I said, "What are you doing?" He goes, "I'm getting ready to go on a run." Because he's getting ready to run in a marathon.
Oh.
I go, I'm on my way home. Want to watch the second half with you. Really? Well, then I'll put my run off until after the game. And then we bonded.
Over that game.
Well, the Lions game was fun to bond over. Did we win or not?
They did win the game. It's Jameis Winston.
Winston actually played really good at that game.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
It wasn't Winston that had anything to do with the loss. As a matter of fact, he was the reason the Giants were in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't just look at who the quarterback is. It depends how well. Well, no, I'm being serious.
I know.
It depends how well the quarterback plays. Winston look at his numbers. Did you watch the game? You were playing golf. He played really well. Now, you can say maybe he played well because the Lions let him play well, but all I know is he played really good football. He was really good. The mistake they made was instead of kicking a field goal to go up 6 with a couple of minutes to go, they decided to go for it on 4th down. And obviously that benefited the Lions because they were able to get the game-tying field goal and then win it in overtime. That being said, the decision that the Giants coach made was not a bad decision. You're 2-8. You can't worry about protecting the Bears or the Packers in the division. You're like, we're 2-8. We're going. If they were 8-2, I guarantee you he kicks the field goal. If you're 2-8, or you're 8-2 and you're tied with Philadelphia for first in the NFC East, you're 2-8. You're the interim coach. You're going nowhere. So you try to win the game right then and there. Of course you do. That's a decision. If I'm a Giants fan, I'm 100% behind. If I'm a member of the team, I am 100% behind them. The idea that you're supposed to, well, you got to try to do it because we got to worry. Because as a matter of fact, one of a Packer fan of mine said, he goes, "I was so mad at the Giants for doing that." And I looked at him and said, just take care of your own business. You won't have to worry about it. You have a half-game lead. Win all your games. Win on Thanksgiving, and you won't have to worry about the Giants. Giants have to do what they think is right for them, and what was right for them is trying to win the football game. Don't you agree with that or not?
I mean, was I annoyed that the Giants did that? Yes, because it impacted my club, but I understand what you're saying. Yeah, I wish they wouldn't have done it.
But do you agree with what I'm saying? You got to take the Packer part of it out.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. You've got nothing to lose.
Right.
Why not?
You're trying to win a football game. You're not trying to well, let's see. Who are the Lions in the division with? Oh, let's see. The Packers and the Bears are counting on us. Well, too bad. No, that was, so anyways, yeah, so that was a draw. Watching McCarthy, I said this yesterday, watching him struggle like he did yesterday was hard. It really was. Let's take a break. We'll come back. We've got the legendary Mark Rosen. I just saw him. He was in the studio just momentarily. He will join us here on the other side of the break. Oh, by the way, it says Jameis Winston was the #1 fantasy quarterback this past week.
I think that's an indictment on the Lions defense.
No, what it is, it's an indictment on your ability not to pay attention to the National Football League. Your choice was to pay attention to the National Football League or go golfing. You chose golfing. I chose to leave the golf course to go pay attention because I worry more about I was worried about the show and being informed of what happened in the football game. So that's what I did, just so you know. We'll take a break. We'll come back with the legendary Mark Rosen here on The Fan.